let's now shift our focus to Mexico, where the death toll in the Mexico quake has increased to at least 58 people who are confirmed to have been trapped under the rubble and who are now officially dead. A massive earthquake measuring 8.2 on the Richter scale shook Mexico's southern coast on Friday morning, as Mexico's president has called the quake the deadliest in a century to have struck Mexico. The quake shook off the buildings in the capital city of Mexico, triggering chaos amongst the civilians, forcing them to rush out to the streets. Now, a non-governmental Israeli aid agency has reached Mexico with high-tech gear for searching for people who are trapped under the rubble. The massive earthquake has also caused a tsunami, with one wave coming to as much as about 3 feet. It's not big, but initially it was being said that huge tsunami waves could sweep around across the rim of these nations where the earthquake had struck. However, a tsunami alert has also been issued earlier and has now officially been taken back. The Mexico's Civil Protection Agency says that this is the strongest earthquake to hit the country since a devastating 1985 tremor that had toppled buildings and killed thousands of people at that time.
Hasta hace unos minutos se estimaba que había sido de 8.4. Hay una actualización muy reciente sobre la magnitud del sismo, que es de 8.2 grados. Y esto lo convierte en el sismo de mayor magnitud que se haya registrado en nuestro país, al menos en los últimos 100 años. Lamentablemente hemos tenido ya reporte de pérdida de vidas humanas y de varias afectaciones materiales que todavía no podemos cuantificar, y lo habremos de hacer tanto en horas y eventualmente en días, cuando sepamos a mayor detalle cuáles fueron los daños que este sismo haya dejado. Quiero reportar que se tiene de manera preliminar este reporte de 5 personas que fallecieron, 2 en Tabasco, 3 en Chiapas.
The strength of the massive earthquake was captured in a cell phone video. Now, the video shows Mexico's iconic Angel of Independence monument shaking as the earthquake hit. Now, another dramatic video footage that's been captured inside a Mexico City business also showed the force and the impact of the quake. Now, shifting focus to the United States, where Hurricane Irma is nowhere near done, and residents in the Bahamas and Cuba are now bracing for one of the most powerful Atlantic storms in a century as it continues on its destructive path. The Hurricane Irma has rattled buildings, it has downed trees, and it has smashed boats as it stormed through the British Virgin Islands with winds of around 185 miles per hour. Now, the storm, which is the size of France, has ravaged small islands in the northeast of Caribbean. Now, a video that's been posted in social media from the British Virgin Islands has showed the fury of Irma and its aftermath in that island state. Now, the death toll has gone up to at least 23 people who are confirmed to be dead since the hurricane has struck. And also the satellite images that have been released by NASA has shown 3 hurricanes which are barreling westwards. Now, this is the first time since 2010 that 3 active hurricanes are barreling simultaneously through the Atlantic and pushing on towards the North American continent. You can see the 3 hurricanes there, one after the other, pushing on towards the American mainland in that image that has been released by NASA. And also, Hurricane Irma makes its way towards Florida. 2 other hurricanes are also gaining strength as they are near land. Now, Hurricane Jose is now an extremely dangerous Category 4 storm with maximum sustained winds of at least 150 miles per hour. It's still forecast to steer north, potentially avoiding any impact with the state of Florida in the United States. Meanwhile, Hurricane Cata, which is also following closely on the heels of Hurricane Jose, continues to strengthen as it meandered in the Gulf of Mexico, and the storm reportedly has wind speeds of around 100 miles per hour and is forecast to make landfall in Mexico today. Meanwhile, long lines were witnessed at the gas stations in Florida as residents scurried to stock up before the storm makes its landfall over the weekend. The reports of gas shortages are already surfacing from several areas within Florida, and Florida has already declared a state of emergency in preparation, freeing up resources for shelters and evacuations. The US President Donald Trump has released a statement saying that Irma is a storm of absolutely historic destructive potential.
Hurricane Irma approaches, my administration is working closely with our state and local partners to help save lives, protect families, and assist those in need. This is a storm of absolutely historic destructive potential. I ask everyone in the storm's path to be vigilant and to heed all recommendations from government officials and law enforcement.
Now, earlier, an animation that was released by NASA showed Hurricane Irma's path across the Caribbean during the period from Monday to Thursday this week. Now, Irma is ranked as one of the 5 most powerful Atlantic hurricanes in the last 80 years and the strongest Atlantic storm that's been recorded by the National Hurricane Center outside the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico. Now, the damage by Hurricane Irma has been to the tune of approximately $150 million. In fact, nearly 90% of the buildings and vehicles on the island have been completely destroyed by the powerful Category 5 storm. The hurricanes have stormed into the U.S. records in 1851 when the National Weather Service started storing data on hurricanes from Katrina to Hurricane Harvey. Many hurricanes have come and gone, but the deadliest dates back to the 1900s. Take a look.
In 1900, the Galveston hurricane left over 8,000 dead in Texas. It ranks as the deadliest weather disaster in U.S. history. Florida, which is now bracing for Irma, has earlier been hammered by Hurricane Okeechobee. 3,000 people died in that storm. Katrina was another fierce force that wheeled through the city of New Orleans, taking in its stride more than 1,200 lives. It is no coincidence that Hurricane Irma comes right behind Hurricane Harvey, and Jose and Katia are next in line. The World Meteorological Organization has alphabetical 6 lists in place for naming hurricanes since 1979. The list, a mix of both male and female names, is rotated every 6 years, and a hurricane too massive, such as Katrina, is knocked off the list. Besides massive loss of lives, states also suffer heavy damage. The costliest hurricane in US history is Harvey, that inflicted $190 billion in damage. Katrina follows right behind with $108 billion worth of damage, while 1992's Hurricane Andrew cost the US $45 billion in damages. Hurricanes of 2000s, Ike and Wilma stamped the US with more than $20 billion worth in damages. Stranded civilians too pay a price, both before and after the hurricane, as is evident in the case of Irma predicted to hit Florida. Fuel shortages drove up gas prices, causing residents to line up in front of gas stations. Joining the bandwagon are airlines that have gouged up flight rates by as many as 10 times and cancelling about 1,600 flights. All those not able to fly out may be lucky to scramble to hotel rooms, many of which are maxed out in capacity. Feared civilians also bombarded supermarkets, stocking heavily on water, food and batteries, preparing for a menace that is suspected to bring massive power outages. Florida Power and Lighthouse Company has said it will shut 2 nuclear plants in the state before Irma spins ashore. President Donald Trump also made preparations as his waterfront resort could fall in the path of the hurricane. The doors and windows of the estate have been boarded up to withstand any danger. Now it waits to be seen if these preventive plans can survive the weight and wrath of the powerful force. Bureau Report, WION.